My Sexual Life. This is a place to be for education about asexuality, also lifestyle, entertainment, and information videos. So, have you ever had one of those really bad days where nothing is going right or has gone right so far? So, I had one of these days on Friday. It was a very, very stressful day for me. My mind was not in a good mental state at all. And it seemed like one thing after the other just kept going wrong. Most of it was to do with the fact that I have a problem with my boiler in my new flat. The hot water in the kitchen is not working properly. It either is tepid or it goes really hot suddenly and then freezing cold, or just tepid, or basically goes hot to cold very quickly. There's not enough hot water that lasts for me to actually use it. Luckily, I've been using a mini dishwasher that heats itself up to wash a lot of my cutlery. But when I had to wash bigger items in the sink, they weren't getting clean. So I contacted the letting agency on Thursday, and they said they would contact their contractor. They didn't say when I would hear from them, and they said that the contractor would arrange a time to visit directly with me to get the access. And then the next day, on the Thursday, I should say, that I was working back on my Asexuality book. I just started editing it. I haven't had very good sleep this last week. And also, so I was having problems with sleep. I decided to do exercise in the middle of the night. I started working back editing on my Asexuality book. And therefore, I didn't go to sleep till nearly 4 a.m, which is actually the time I usually like to go to sleep. I'm like a night owl. I work better at night usually. So bear in mind that was the case. So I was asleep till nearly midday, 10 to midday. And then I had a missed call from the contractor and the contractor they use. And he said to call him ASAP. So I called him and he said, oh, we could have come out this morning, but our team's busy now. Which I said, oh, sorry, I didn't know, because I didn't know they were going to call at 8:45 in the morning. And I said I was asleep. And when he phoned me back, because he actually phoned me back to have this conversation, because I rang him, because his message said to ring him. My phone didn't ring because in my new flat there's no signal, or either there's no signal in certain parts of it, or it's poor signal, right? So it didn't even ring. So had I even been awake, it wouldn't have heard it ringing, because it doesn't ring in like my bedroom. It's really well soundproof with fireproof doors. So I then, when I did speak to him, he then said he's fully booked up on Saturday and he wouldn't give me a time that he's coming back to fix a boiler. So that day I was completely stressed out. I was so anxious the whole time, and I still don't have a date. I went back to the letting agency and asked them to please help me, and so I contacted them, but they wouldn't give me a time. And then they said that I need to be more flexible. I said I don't know how I can be more flexible, other than the fact I already told the contractor I can get up any time, and also if I'm not in there, you can use the keys, but I still need to know a time so I'm not caught off guard in the shower or asleep. But they said to contact the contractor again, which I have done, and the contractor just not got back to me. So this is like a bit of a disaster if you need hot water in the winter, right? This is like an emergency situation, really. I've had a problem with the boiler for a while, but I've monitored it. It's just got worse and worse and worse, and it's started to affect my shower now. So anyway, that was the situation. So as you can imagine, this is beyond my control. I did as much as I can. I spent like nearly an hour composing an email to the letting agency to get them to try and help me. And all they did was tell me I have to go back to contractor and get time down to an estimated time of arrival, basically, which, you know, he wouldn't answer my call. I know he's busy with other people, right? And I sent him a text and he didn't respond. So, and I couldn't even send some of the texts because in my new flat, which I rent off the letting agency, I rent from a landlord via the letting agency, there's a poor signal. I didn't even know that when I signed the contract. So my mobile signal is really poor in here. It's not poor on the Wi-Fi, so I can do this video now because this is in my home, but it is poor otherwise. So I had to buy a new digital landline contract and change to BT in the UK just to be able to talk to my parents, for example, because you can't use the mobile most of the time for phone calls in my home. So this is just a nightmare. So this was really bad, and it took me ages. I got AI to help me to write the letter and stuff like this. So to the email to the letting agency, but it still didn't work because the guy put the ball back in my own court. Which, you know, I just got the fact that you need to be more flexible, and we've been using these people for decades, these contractors. Well, I've since looked at some of the Google reviews, and they're not all great about this contractor, right? So I have a Love Life Club membership. So if you didn't know what Love Life Club is, it's Matthew Hussey's Love Life Club. Matthew Hussey is the world's #1 dating and confidence coach on YouTube. He's got absolutely millions of subscribers, right? So I'm in his Love Life Club learning about dating relationships from the best. He's got 17 years experience and he is the world's best, right? So I'm in his club to learn a lot, to then help you on this channel, as I cover dating relationships as part of what I do on this channel, right? So anyway, I use Matthew AI. Matthew has a tool called Matthew AI. So it's basically an artificial intelligence version of himself, and it's like a 24-hour love coach. But Matthew AI is great as part of the membership because it helps you with other stuff. So it helps me. So that's what I use to help me compose the email. And I was also talking to Matthew AI about this situation, and he was saying you just need to state your needs to the letting agency. And I said, well, what if they push back and say you've got to contact the contract again, which they did. And he didn't think that would happen, but it did. So this is a nightmare now. So Matthew AI was saying you can only, focus on what you can control. So I was going to tell you what I did in this situation because the day was very difficult. It got worse because one of my coats, I got a waterproof black coat that I absolutely loved. That ripped at the seams. It's like everything. I tried to put more primer on the bottom of the drawer. And it literally, the first layer of primer that my best friend put on, it all came off like Spider-Man's mask. It's like a white mask. You can see that YouTube Shorts video on my channel. And I'm like, everything was going wrong. And I was feeling down, as you can imagine, because my mental health was just not in a good state. So I want to tell you some of the things I did in order to improve it. Because today, which is, well, not today now because it's after midnight, but Saturday, I've had a much better day. And been a lot more productive and happy. So I wanted to tell you what I did. So first of all, obviously I did talk to Matthew A. I got some advice there, some of which I already knew, but it's nice to hear it again. And one of the things he said is, okay, there's nothing basically more you can do at the moment, especially as my letting agency is closed at the weekend. So you need to focus on stuff you can control. So this means doing something, even if it's a little thing, just anything to make yourself feel better. Because I was feeling like I'm unproductive. I haven't done barely anything yesterday because most of the time I got up and I was either on the phone to the contractor trying to type it. I did have a shower, and then I tried to contact the letting agency because my shower's been a problem as well. So when I was in the shower, it started to go cold again in the middle of my shower, even though I didn't touch the dial at that point. So this was even more stressful. So it's just stress. So anyway, Matthew's AI was saying, like, focus on what you can control now, not what you can't, which is a really good piece of advice. If you're having a really bad day, just focus on what you can control, not what you can't. But it was very difficult because things kept going wrong. So I decided to start being kind to myself because I was being so self-critical. Have you ever had like a situation where you're just having such a bad day and you just keep having a go at yourself and you're like rah at yourself, like, why did you do this, why did you do that, you should have done this, you should have done that, what's going on, oh my god, this is a bad day. So when you keep saying it's a bad day to yourself and keep repeating it, it keeps the cycle, the loop of the bad day happening. It's a bit like Groundhog Day. So in order to break that cycle, you have to be consciously aware of it and recognize this about yourself and realize you've got to stop saying you're having a bad day, even if you are. And sometimes you can't just say, stop saying I'm having a bad day. So one, it's good to acknowledge you're having a bad day because it's important to acknowledge your emotions and not just repress or suppress them. So on the one hand, it's good for you to acknowledge you're having a bad day, right? And give yourself some empathy and sympathy and grace and compassion. But also it's good not to continually say this, I'm having a bad day, I'm having a bad day, I'm having a bad day, because it just makes the day worse. So you've got to acknowledge your feelings and emotions deal with them with a compassionative stance rather than an overcritical stance, which I was taking a critical stance quite a lot of myself in the beginning. And then you've got to like find a way to break the cycle. Well, that can mean going off and doing something else, which I was doing. But like I said, then there was other things that were going wrong. So what I did is I gave myself a simple task to do because I felt I'd been so unproductive. Like all I've been doing is like filling my mind with all this stuff to do with the boiler. I hadn't really done much work or anything. So I decided that I would do something that I felt I could achieve, like a simple or simpler thing that I thought I could achieve. And this was going out shopping. Right, this might seem quite an easy task, but when you're having a bad day and your stress levels are really high, you don't necessarily feel like going out shopping. But the fresh air can do you really good. So I took my shopping trolley and I went to a shop and I got like kitchen roll and I got washing powder and cleaning stuff and things like that. So rubber gloves and all this type of thing. So when I came back, I just felt good that I'd actually achieved something, even if it wasn't like the best thing in the world to achieve. I just felt it's much, much better, than not doing anything. And so that's really, really important. So I achieved that and that made me feel really good. So what I would say is make sure you can give yourself something that you can achieve that can make you feel better. That's just a simple thing. Because if you give yourself too much to do at once and you're having a bad day already, you're just gonna like crowd your mind. So number one is to acknowledge your emotions. Don't repress or suppress them. Number two is try to break the cycle though of keeping telling yourself you're having a bad day by going off and doing a simple task that you know that you can achieve or should be able to achieve. Right, so for me that was going out to do the shopping and coming back. Then I put a wash on, so that meant I was being productive, so I felt better that I hadn't just wasted my day trying to sort the boiler out, which wasn't actually happening, the hot water. So and then I decided to be kind to myself because I thought in these situations we get really overcritical, I feel. And I was giving myself a really hard time and I'm thinking, why didn't I say this on the conversation with the contractor? Why didn't I phrase this way? So maybe he would have took it in a better way, blah, blah, blah. And so it was really very, a lot of negative self-talk. So I changed it around by thinking, why not be kind to yourself, Sandra? So I actually paid for myself to go to the cinema to make myself feel better because the cinema always cheers me up. It helps my mental health no end. And I usually go self-dating and go to the cinema. I'm actually going to self-date in the morning in a number of hours time on a Sunday because it's coming up to 1 a.m. on Sunday now. So I've already got the cinema booked for today, this morning actually at 9:05 a.m. So I won't get many hours sleep because that's my self-date day on a Sunday. So it's important to self-date because that helps you to stay connected to yourself. It gives you time out from the rest of your life. It enables you to enhance your own self-love. It also helps you to believe in yourself more, enhances your self-esteem and self-confidence, and it breeds a really good relationship with yourself. It also enables you to make decisions for yourself and your own welfare and well-being because self-dating is part of like health and well-being, and it allows you to keep promises to yourself. You make promises to yourself and you keep it. Like you basically make the promise you'll go on a self-date every week, and usually mine's on a Sunday, and then you keep that to yourself, that word to yourself. You let that happen, because if you don't keep your word to yourself, it can make you not trust yourself. So it's important to do that. So I've already got the cinema booked up, but I did go on Friday when I was having the really bad day in the evening. I didn't book it till like 7 because it was like a really bad day. And then it was at 8 o'clock that I booked it for. So I did see Moana 2, which I am going to be reviewing on this channel soon. I didn't want to review it right now because I'm a little bit sleepy, and I thought it's more important to do this video right now because this is what happened, and I bought myself a ticket to go to Moana 2 as part of being kind to myself when I was having a bad day. So I felt this video should come first. So when you're having a bad day as well, realize that that's not going to be the same every day, and that, you know, when you wake up, when you go to sleep and you wake up, it'll be a fresh day and a fresh start. So I was determined to make a list the next day of things that I wanted to do. I was still worried and stressed out about the boiler because I do not know when someone's coming to look at it. You know, not having hot water in the kitchen is really a nightmare. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. It's not good. But because I bought a mini dishwasher here, I'm at least able to get some dishes sparkling clean, because it boils itself basically with the changing cold water to hot, you know. So you know, luckily I have that, but it's not good. And at the moment I don't know what's happening. So this morning, yesterday morning now, I did wake up in a panic and I was anxiety induced again. I tried to get hold of the contractor again, but he did say he was working all day today, so I thought he'd be in the showroom, but it looks like their showroom is actually shut on a Saturday. So I'm going to leave it for now, because I can't, you know, he's not working on Sunday anyway, as far as I know, and the showroom's shut on Sunday. So I'll have to see if he contacts me this coming week. If not, I found out where the showroom is, so I might just turn up in person in the showroom. So I think it's just very, very important that you take control of your day and realize that at any part of your day you can actually still have a better day. I think that's really important. So when I booked the cinema, I didn't go out to the cinema till 8 o'clock at night, but then my day did start to pick up. It was a night. I didn't get back till like about 10:30 I got back from the cinema. But by going to the cinema, it gave me a break. I watched a beautiful movie, The Moana 2. It is a good movie. I'll be explaining more why in an actual review of that. And there was a lot of people around, and I'm an extrovert, so it's really good for me to get out and be around people. So sometimes if you're introverted, you just need time to yourself to recuperate and unwind. Maybe you need to go out for a walk, or maybe you just need to be indoors by yourself when things are going wrong. But as an extrovert, it actually helps me when I'm around people. It helps to feel like I'm part of something bigger than I am. It helps me to feel connected to people around me in the world. Helps me to just feel good having people around me. So the whole atmosphere was nice. There was a lot of people in the cinema. The film was really good. You know, there is a good message in Moana, I will tell you that, you know, which is about accomplishing things that you feel are impossible to accomplish, but eventually you achieve them. And there's always another way. So I want to stress that is an important part of the movie. I will be going more into the movie with my movie review that I'll be doing soon about this. But that was a central theme. And when you're having a bad day and you're thinking, oh my God, nothing's going right, watching a movie like that can be so inspiring and uplifting, because the whole theme of the movie is, you know, you can achieve the impossible. Against the odds, when things are not going in your favour, when things are going wrong, you can still triumph. And there's another way of doing things that maybe you haven't thought of. Hello to everyone from India. I'm not from Japan, because you speak excellent Japanese. Do I? I can't speak Japanese. So yeah. Hello to everyone in chat tonight. From all around the globe. I'm in the UK actually. So to get back to the film, I like watching films that make me feel good, especially when I'm having a bad day, ones that cheer me up and make me feel bright and happy again. And it's amazing how much a movie can shift your state from feeling bad and stressed and negative to actually much more positive. And I like to have themes of movies where the main character achieves what seems to be impossible. There's a huge like theme that goes throughout a lot of the movies that I watch. I watch a lot of superhero movies and a lot of animation movies and dance movies I love as well. And a central theme I love to have in these movies is when, against all odds, against all the grit and the grime of life, the main character just triumphs and wins the day. They get through their own fears, they push through their own barriers, and they eventually achieve their dreams, even if it's a struggle. So watching Moana like struggle through what she was doing, both emotionally and mentally, and it was physically challenging for her as well. And you know, she got a big challenge ahead of her that was bigger than she ever thought. And because she accomplished, you know, overcoming that, even though that's fiction, it helps in reality to make you feel stronger watching something like that, or at least it does for me. And I would encourage you to do the same and watch movies where, you know, against all odds, the main character is resilient and they're strong and they're a fighter and they're determined to succeed. And even if it's really hard and a struggle, they come through the other side. And that's what I like to do in my own life, but it isn't always easy. So I think when you're having a really bad day, it's good to give yourself some grace and some kindness and treat yourself, because we get into this state of mind where we've got to be so critical of ourselves because we blame ourselves for our own bad day when there's other people and other factors involved. It's not all on us, right? So we have to remember that we can't control other people, but other people are involved in our life. And if they're involved in things that we need help with in our life, such as my boiler is not working properly and I have to go through a letting agency, then that's beyond my control to a certain extent. I can't repair the boiler myself because I'm not trained. Do you know what I mean? So I'm having to rely on other people. So it's frustrating when it's like that. But all you can do is do the best you can at the time. You can do anything and everything you can in your power to do the best you could do. But if there's other people involved, then sometimes, you know, like if you keep trying to get hold of them, you can't. It's best just to like relax a bit and hold back and see what happens. Be an observationist, you know, which can be one of the hardest things. If you're having trouble, for example, in a relationship or even friendship as well, a good thing to do is, if you find you're giving to that friendship or relationship, is to pull back a bit. It can be really hard if you've got an anxious attachment style. I'm going off on a tangent here, I know, but it's kind of both related in a interesting way. Is that, you know, if you find you're giving, like pull back and see what the other person does, because sometimes when we keep going in people's spaces and keep messaging, and that, it actually puts people off, or it makes them feel more stressed and under pressure. So I think the best thing I can do at the moment is, it's not good for me because it's quite urgent to sort my hot water out, but I think the best thing to do is to just pull back a bit, you know. It's really important. So I'm like this, when I woke up in the morning after the stressful day before, I was listening to positive affirmations and positive songs because I was getting really stressed. And then I was just thinking, you can't control it, you know. If the guy's not answering his phone and he's not working tomorrow and he's meant to be working today, but he's probably serving customers, there's nothing you can do about it, Sandra. You're just going to have to do other things. So I made myself a list of things I needed to do today. Some of which I did yesterday, although we've gone over midnight now, so it'd be the day before and the day before. And then I worked my way through the list, and I've been a lot more productive. Even though I was having a bad day that day, I did still stay up and do some more things in the night, as you can probably tell by the shorts on this channel. So I actually went out to the cinema to watch Moana. Then I had the problem with the drawer when I came back, because I tried to do another coat of primer and then the original primer all peeled off with the second lot I was trying to put on, like Spider-Man's face mask. So that didn't go well at all. It's all off the bottom of the drawer now. It's very weird. And then I noticed my coat is ripped at the seams. I'm like, oh my God, this is like, luckily I have a spare waterproof coat, but it's a lot more thicker and heavier, which is not ideal. And then I put wash on, and then I started doing some unpacking of stuff and sorting things out and doing a bit of filing and throwing some post away and moving some things around like boxes and bags. And so I made myself feel better because I was productive later on, because it's important to know that you can always change your day around. You can always change your night around. So even if you've had a really bad day, you can still do things to change it around. But the other thing is I did actually watch a Christmas movie as well. So in between doing the work, I watched part of the Christmas movie. Then I went out to the cinema. I think I started watching the Christmas movie before the cinema. Then I watched more of it, and then I did some work in my flat, and then I watched the rest of it. So the Christmas movie was like quite light-hearted. Again, it was she had like special gifts, you know, that weren't really being noticed at the time. And then as the movie went on, they were being noticed more and more. And yeah, I haven't reviewed that film. I don't know if I'll review it, but it was Noel. And in the end, spoiler alert, the person who was Santa is no longer Santa, and in the end, and a female Santa ends up being in the end. So that was really clever. But I like the fact that they showed that the person had special capabilities that they didn't even know. And I think even the average person, a lot of people in real life, we have special qualities in us, special gifts that do actually make us the hero of our own life story and the hero of other people's life stories as well, you know? And I think it's important to know that even if we're not like a superhero flying around the film set, we can also be our own superhero of life and save ourselves from pain, and we can change our day around even if it's going badly. And sometimes we just have to laugh and say, how not something going wrong again, oh my lord, do you know what I mean? Because, you know, sometimes if you don't laugh, you do cry, and sometimes, you know, you just have to, like, after a while give up trying to fight the bad day and just say, okay, I just give in, like, whatever. If it's gonna be bad, like, what else can go on? Oh yeah, and kind of be a bit nonchalant about it, be a bit like, oh right, okay, here we go again, you know. But I think it's important to give yourself a break from the cycle by taking yourself out and doing something, like whether it's out for a meal, to the cinema, whether it's calling a friend, calling a family member, whether it's just going for a walk around the block to get some fresh air. I think trying to break the cycle of thought patterns is very, very important. So I think it's wise to do that in whatever way you see fit. Mine was going out to cinema because I know then my mind's completely distracted into something else. Sometimes though, even in the cinema, my mind can go back to anxiety stuff. I do actually have an anxiety condition. So if you've got anxiety as well, you know what I'm talking about. It's not always easy. Your mind goes around in like a record in a circle all the time. So you have to kind of break the cycle consciously, if you know what I mean. So after I woke up, I was still worried about the boiler, and I thought there's nothing you can do about it. It's a weekend. You can't do anything about it. So then I wrote a list, and then I got a lot done on my list. So I had a couple of important letters that I had to write since moving, change of address, and I hadn't been able to update them yet. So I've done that. And one had to go off to the UK, one USA. So that was I had to go to the post office. And then I also had to pick up shoes. I got some new shoes, which is good for the winter, black ones that I bought in the Black Friday sale in the UK. And so, yeah, that was nice. And then I had a Thai meal. So I ate out a lovely Thai restaurant just up the road from where I live. Really, really nice. So all this made me feel good. I have an Asexualise Academy club, and I've got a member in there, and because it's a very, very small club, I'm able to match content to the members, you know, so I can do specific content for them. So I was doing content on how to grow a YouTube channel using shorts, actually, which is interesting, isn't it? Because I have a lot of people watching shorts on my channel. So that was exclusive for the members of my Asexualise Academy Club. So some people are out saying, oh, asexual, like, what's that? Asexuality is a sexual orientation that's based on a lack of sexual attraction. And I discovered I'm asexual in 2014. So I get really attracted to guys, but not sexually. Like, I like guys, I like to kiss and cuddle. Not every guy, obviously, but younger foreign guys, usually Indian specifically, if I'm honest, which is probably why I get quite a few Indian guys pop on here. Lots of love to you all. So yeah, but I've dated and been in a relationship with Indian guys before. I actually had my first relationship with an Indian guy this year, but I've dated other Indian guys. But yes, Pakistani guys I've had like romantic encounters with and stuff like that. But yeah, anyway, so yes, so I do get attracted to guys romantically and aesthetically, and some in other ways, such as intelligently and stuff like that. But I just don't experience sexual attraction. Like, I don't get those urges for sex ever. I have an asexual who's had sex in the past a long time ago, though, which was good experience at the time. You know, some people are like, oh, are you asexual because you've had bad sex? It's like, well, I have had bad sex, but I've also had good sex. I'm just really not interested in it, you know. I was only doing it really because I thought that's what I had to do as part of a normal relationship. I didn't realize there was an option. Like, there's an option to have a relationship where you don't have to have sex. Well, hey, let's go for that option because it's much better. So yeah, and I'm not interested in sex. I love kissing though, so that's kind of difficult, you know, being on the dating scene, which I'm not actually active on anymore, because I after my relationship ended this year, then I just decided I wasn't going back on the dating scene as such. So yeah, that's when I joined Matthew Hussey's Love Life Club. So someone in chat says, sometimes I think I'm asexual, but I'm not really sure. Okay, well, some of the signs you're asexual, I mean, I've got videos about this on my channel, but including shorts videos. So some of the signs you might be asexual is, one, you're really not interested in sex. That's a pretty obvious one. But some asexuals do partake in sex, because asexuality is a lack of sexual attraction. It's not a lack of sexual action. So some people confuse the two. Some people think sexual action and sexual attraction are the same thing when they're not. So some asexuals like myself these days are sex repulsed. Some asexuals are sex neutral. Some asexuals are sex favourable. But some of the signs you might be asexual is you're not interested in sex at all. When other people are talking about sex, it really doesn't do anything for you. When people are trying to instigate sex with you, you're like, I'd rather watch telly or go out for a walk or play a game or speak to a friend. Like, you'd rather be doing other stuff. Another sign you might be asexual is if you had experiences at school or college or university, for example, where people were talking about relationships and sex and getting off with each other and how hot someone was, and you just didn't really relate. I don't have any urges unless I'm dating someone, but even then, the act is more of a service to them. Doesn't serve me. Okay. Well, there is something called demisexual. I don't know if you've had a look at that. So demisexual is on the grey part of the asexual spectrum. So there's two types of asexuals. One are pure asexuals that don't experience any sexual attraction whatsoever. And then there's grey asexuals who only experience sexual attraction usually when either a deep emotional bond has been formed, maintained and sustained, or they experience it enough but not enough to want to act on it. That's kind of the general rule of thumb with grey asexuals, although there's also grey asexuals are in between asexual and sexual who might not even have any sexual attraction at all. So that's kind of a grey area of grey areas. But a demisexual is someone who can only experience sexual attraction when a deep emotional bond has been formed. But that's not preference. It's like they just literally can't experience sexual attraction unless they've got that deep emotional bond. So I don't know if that sounds like someone that could be like you. There's also a form of grey asexuality where it's got to be reciprocated. So it's like reciprosexual and reciproromantic. It means that the person only experiences sexual attraction or romantic attraction if someone else it feels sexual attraction or romantic attraction towards them first, basically. So yeah, you might want to look into different parts of grey asexuality, and one of them might apply to you. So there's a different. Hi Sandra, just stopping by before I go to bed. Oh, lots of love, Jonathan. Nice to see you. Nice to see you a lot. And so yeah, so demisexuality or grey sexuality, demisexuality is part of grey sexuality spectrum, then might be something you want to look into. I appreciate the insight. You're welcome. It's a big minefield out there because pure asexual is really easy to recognise because it's just like you don't experience any sexual attraction whatsoever. Although I'm technically a pure asexual, but I've got a grey areas. So I don't experience any sexual attraction whatsoever, but I do have some sexual behaviour with the way I like to kiss and the way I like to dance. So this kind of gives me some grey areas, but behaviour is not the same as attraction. So I don't experience any sexual attraction whatsoever. I can have high levels of arousal though, but zero sexual attraction. So again, in terms of pure asexuality, I don't experience any sexual attraction at all. So by that definition, I am pure asexual. However, I do experience high levels of arousal for kissing, but it's usually to do with the kissing itself. I don't have to even have anyone involved in that. I can just be thinking about kissing and I feel aroused in my body just by talking about it. You know, because my arousal's for kissing, it's not for sex, and it's like kissing in and of itself, even without a guy involved, even if just kissing myself makes me quite excited. Why not, you know? So yeah, so it's kind of a minefield, you know, because a lot of people think all asexuals have got no sexual behavior. There's kind of a lot of stigmas that they're prudes, or they're all virgins, or they're all, you know, like you know, like there's some disorder or something. But there's nothing wrong with being asexual. I mean, what really annoys me is when I see people, for example, on Diary of a CEO, and they're talking and they're saying, oh, people are hardwired to have sex. Well, that's not actually true of all people. I'd love to go on Diary of a CEO. Please let Diary of a CEO know I want to go on his channel and be interviewed about asexuality, because not everyone is hardwired to have sex. Not everyone's hardwired to cheat with sex, because not everyone's hardwired to have sex in the first place. Asexuals are actually wired differently, especially pure asexuals who don't experience any sexual attraction at all. We are just wired completely different, you know. Like, I can kiss. I'm a hyper kisser asexual, which is super rare to be a hyper kisser for any sexual orientation, and especially considering most asexuals are not even interested in much kissing, right? Which means I can literally kiss for hours. So you can get hypersexuals in the world. I'm not hypersexual. Hypersexuals can have sex for like 2 or 3 hours, for example. I have known of a hypersexual in my life, because I've been friends with a person online who was like that, female actually, not male. Well, actually, they're trans now. They were assigned female at birth, but then they decided to transition. But they didn't have surgery. So yeah, but I thought I'd just share that insight. But I'm a hyper romantic and a hyper kisser, not hypersexual, not interested in sex. So yeah, a hyper kisser means I can kiss for hours literally and never get bored. So just, which makes things very difficult when you're an asexual who doesn't experience any sexual attraction and doesn't want sex. Because most people who kiss as a prequel to sex, right? But I don't kiss as a prequel to sex. I kiss as something I want to do for, like, say it was a meal, something I want to do for you know, the starter, the main course, and dessert. I just love to kiss. I get all my pleasure and physical excitement through the kissing alone, and just thinking about kissing with no one else involved. Not myself even. You know, like, I just love kissing so much, and so I get a natural high of kissing. But yeah, I can kiss for hours and never get bored, which is obviously quite interesting and difficult to find a suitable match. So, and I get kissing sick if I haven't kissed for ages. Like, I'm like, oh my God, I really need to kiss now. And I like feel all sick. Like, you know, when you feel homesick. I know I've digressed from having a bad day to talking about kissing, which has brightened up my day, actually. So if you want to know how to brighten up your day if you're having a bad day, always talk about things that make you happy and feel good and excited. Then you'll come alive, and then you'll stop thinking about the bad day, and then you'll be having a better day. Because it's all about shifting your state and your energy, which is very important. One way you do shift your state and energy is through movement, another's through music, another is through shifting your thoughts and what you're saying to yourself, your self-talk. All these can help to give you a better day if you're having a bad day. And another thing is to talk about things that bring you joy and excitement and pleasure, because if you talk about them, your face will light up, and then it will put you in a different physiological state, which will elevate you. So that cuts hella asexual. What? So what is asexual? I've explained that a few minutes ago, but I can explain it again if you wish. Asexuality is a sexual orientation that's based on a lack of sexual attraction. The A in front of the sexual put together means absence of sexual attraction in a nutshell. But asexuality is also a spectrum ranging from pure asexuals to great asexuals. So the pure asexuals don't experience any sexual attraction whatsoever, and the grey asexuals can only experience sexual attraction either when a deep emotional bond has been formed, maintained, and sustained, or some grey asexuals do experience sexual attraction, but only under limited, rare, or specific circumstances. And some grey asexuals, you know, they experience sexual attraction, but they just can't act on it. You know, it's not enough to want to act on it. So, yeah, asexuality is very interesting. I found out I'm asexual in 2014 because I noticed that I felt differently about, you know, like I was kissing a guy. So, for example, in 2013, I was dating. Well, I wasn't dating. I was in a relationship with a Bangladeshi guy. And he was so aesthetically hot, you know. He was very, very good looking aesthetically. I really wanted to snog his face off. But when he wanted to do, like, sex stuff, physical stuff, I just couldn't bring myself to do it. No matter how good looking I thought he was. How aesthetically he was my type, you know. His hair, his face. But I'm attracted to guys' face, not below the waist, which is definitely as well a saying I like to say, which represents my asexuality really, and how I feel about guys. Like, I get attracted to guys' face and frame, like his shoulders, but not below the waist. I'm not interested in that. Do you know what I mean? I'm interested in his face. If the guy's got a really nice face, then that's what makes him aesthetically attractive to me. And his hair. You know, I like short, dark hair, preferably, but I like spiky hair as well. Spiky hair is quite nice, but I don't like beards on guys. Personally, I don't like facial hair. I'm very repulsed by facial hair, especially big bushy beards. That doesn't mean to say that every guy who's got big bushy beard is repulsive per se. It's just that I don't like that look, and the actual beard repulses me. Doesn't mean to say the person's a horrible person. It just means that I get repulsed by facial hair. So yeah, that's another thing I have to contend with in terms of dating and relationships. We've all got lots of nuances and needs, haven't we? And I'm nudity repulsed as well, so I'm not interested in seeing a guy's bits naked. Do you know what I mean? I'm okay with his chest. So does that also mean you care for love scenes in movies? I do no sex movie reviews on this channel. So I actually have a playlist of no sex movie reviews, specifically no sex in them. So I try to watch movies that don't have any sex in them whatsoever because I'm not interested in sex. I don't like sex scenes, but I like romantic stuff because I'm hyper romantic. So I like the type of relationship teenagers have, like a teenager style relationship. Obviously not with a teenager, like, not, you know what I mean. But I like younger guys in their early to mid 20s at most. So yeah, because I like a teenager style relationship, you know, where you've got all the kind of like cute cuddling, holding hands, kissing, going out, all that type of stuff, without all the adult sex rubbish that comes into it. Oh, you must have sex because society dictates it. Really? I'm not interested. Right. Okay, moving on. So yeah, I'm not interested in, when you say love scenes, like, as an asexual, I love emotionally. I'm not interested in the physical parts of a guy. But if you mean love scenes by sex scenes in movies, no, I don't like sex scenes in movies. I don't like nudity in movies either. I think it's completely unnecessary. So I try to watch movies that don't have any sex in them. And I managed to see a lot of movies without sex in them. There's a whole playlist I have. It's one of my most popular playlists, no sex movie reviews. You can check it out on this channel, go through my playlists, search my playlists. So I do happen to, occasionally I end up seeing a movie that's got sex in it, and I'm like, oh my god, it's usually very boring for me, or makes me go bleh. I usually look the other way, down at the floor or something. If it's at home, I can just switch it off or over. But I watched a movie on the Disney Channel, and was it like 2 months ago now, or it might have been a little bit less, and I'm like, oh my god, this was just such a boring movie. Had like it's meant to have a stellar cast in terms of female actresses. I'm just like, you had Whitney Houston in it, and it wasn't The Bodyguard. And it was just so boring. And like, a lot of the storyline was centered around women having boyfriends that were no good for them and having sexual relationships with boyfriends that were no good. I thought, I can't even believe I'm watching this, but I kept thinking, this has got to get better, surely. And I'm like, no, it didn't. It's just so boring. Yeah, it didn't make me feel good at all. But I'm try not to like go near any of those type of films again. I thought it was just like, well, I don't know what I thought it was. I didn't think it was gonna have sex stuff in it. That was for sure. I think I just thought it was a romantic movie, but it was like a romantic movie gone wrong or something. It's very bizarre. But yeah, so I've got a movie booked in a few hours' time, which is the Transformers movie, Transformers 1 or something like that it's called. But yeah, it's a beginning of Megatron and Optimus Prime when they were friends before they became enemies. So that's what I'm going to be watching in a few hours' time. I've got to go and get some sleep now. So yeah, but make sure you do self-date, because when you have the practice of self-dating, it's very, very important. So someone's asking me in chat, so is masturbation kind of repulsive from your perspective? I used to think masturbation was repulsive and disgusting. I do not think that way anymore. So I think it's fine if someone wants to do that. Not a problem, because it's part of self-love and self-care. But I've only changed my mind on that since discovering I'm asexual. Before I found out I'm asexual, prior to 2014, I hated the idea of masturbation. I thought it was disgusting. So yeah, now I've changed, because a number of asexuals, they do still masturbate, even though they don't have sex with other people. They masturbate because some of them do it to relieve tiredness or boredom. Some do it for just to get rid of arousal, because it's not aimed at anyone. I talk about these type of things in my Asexual Perspectives book, by the way. If you haven't got a copy of this, it's a best-selling asexual book on Amazon and from all good bookshops. So in Asexual Perspectives book, this talks about love, life and sex from an asexual point of view, and it asks 46 asexuals and myself, I'm the 47th asexuals, what they think of love, life and sex from an asexual point of view. And it helps explain the difference between arousal and sexual attraction, sexual desire, which are different things, which many people think are all the same type of thing. And it talks about, like, what do asexuals think about sex, what do they think about masturbation and porn and BDSM stuff. So I definitely recommend getting a copy of my best-selling Asexual Perspectives book. There's 47 asexual stories. It's all about love, life and sex, and it's a celebration of asexual diversity, because it talks a lot about different things. It shows a lot of different types of asexuals in this book as well, so it's very insightful. So yeah, it still sells well to this day, so you can just type in Asexual Perspectives on Amazon, it will come up. And then this is my best-selling asexual book from this year that I published, called Diary Confessions of a Hyper-Romantic Asexual, 78 Life Lessons to Ace Your Life. Oh, hi, just subscribed from UK. Oh, thank you, top boy. Lots of love. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, by the way, so you don't miss any episodes. I do a lot of different content on this channel. I do entertainment type of videos, like lifestyle vlogs, movie reviews. I do obviously dating and relationships educational videos. I do them as well. I do self-love, self-care videos. So want that book? Yeah, get Diary Confessions of a Hyper-Romantic Asexual. It's really good. It's the bestseller this year. I published it in April. It's got top reviews at the moment. So yeah, it's really, really good. It's very good because if you love this channel, I go a lot behind the scenes of my asexual life, hence the channel name Asexualise My Asexual Life. And I do a lot of like videos about, like vlogs about what I'm getting up to in my day and leisure wise as well. And this goes behind the scenes of this channel. So if you're into like dating, relationships, or just want to know about life more, definitely get a copy of this book. It's really insightful. And the life lessons you can apply to multiple aspects of your life. But it shows people how to get their asexual needs met as well from sexuals if you are asexual and want to date sexuals. So laugh out loud. I want to watch your videos. I have a lot of videos on this channel, top boy, a lot of videos. So please do check them out on this channel. I regularly upload as well. I'm either uploading shorts or I'm doing a live stream. So yes, grab them. Oh, and this is my superhero autobiographical book. You can get a copy of this as well if you want. So cool mum. Oh, I'm definitely not a mum. I'm too young and I'm not interested in having kids. I like to be like I live like a teenager on purpose and love it. So anyway, this is me, as you can see, in my Ace Fibro Girl outfit. See? My own superhero outfit. So, yeah, this is Fibromyalgia Self-Help Handbook, how to manage fibromyalgia, to have less pain, more energy, and feel happier like a superhero rock star. So fibromyalgia is a pain condition that I happen to have. It's an unseen disability, but this book's like a personal development book in disguise, and it shows you how to reduce pain in up to 25 aspects of your life. Most of which apply even if you don't have fibromyalgia, and it's told in a superhero style throughout the book. A lot of the chapters are superhero. Oh my god, the outfit. Yes, look at my outfit. I've got this outfit still. Yeah, it's a really nice outfit. So yes, that's my Ace Fibro Girl. I actually have acefibrogirl.com website, which and Facebook page, although I tend to upload a lot more to my Asexualise page. But yeah, Ace is a nickname for asexual, by the way. So Ace Fibro Girl, which is written on the thing. My name's Sandra Bellamy, but aka Ace Fibro Girl. So yeah, so these are like very popular, these books. So be sure to check all these out on Amazon. You type in Asexual Perspectives, it will come up with my author name, Sandra Bellamy, and then you can, or Diary Confessions of a Hyper-Romantic Asexual. You get me on the front cover with that one, and the back. Double. This photograph was taken from when I was preparing for the Oxford University talk I did. So if you didn't know, I was a speaker at Oxford University for a company called Blue Talks last year in October. So I've got that on my channel, plus it's on the Blue Talks channel as well. So yes. Someone's asking me, do I believe in the Muffin Man that lives in Drury Lane? Well, I guess because I know where he lives, I must do, mustn't I? Oh, dearie me. I thought it was a sexual reference, and no, I don't. But yeah, anyway, go and grab a copy of these books. They're very insightful. And I'm going to say goodbye for now. I'll see you soon in the next video live stream. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon and thumbs up this video if you like it. And I will see you soon on the next video live stream. Lots of love. Thank you for watching. Take care wherever you are, whatever time it is, and have an ace day. Bye.